Today we are diving into the world of work study. Are you ready for me to demystify this program and get money for school that you don't have to pay back? Of course you are. So let's dive in. But before I do that, please like and subscribe to my channel so that you can get more information about how to get into your dream school, as well as get money like things we're covering today in work study. And you'll get even more information to make college affordable for you. In the previous video, I talked about financial aid and what it is and the 4 different types of financial aid. If you haven't seen that, you might want to go back and look at that, and it'll help you get a good grasp on what financial aid is. But very quick reminder, financial aid is just money used to pay for college. That can be a lot of different things. One of those types, there are 4 types of financial aid, and one of those is called need-based aid. And there's also one called self-help aid. So 2 of the 4 types, self-help aid, need-based aid. Okay. Work study it can be considered a need-based aid. It is technically a need-based aid. It's also a form of self-help aid. So today I wanted to spend some time talking about work study because it's often misunderstood and people don't understand why it's a need-based aid, but it can really help you pay some of those costs of school, particularly for things like living expenses and things, to make that load a little lighter on parents and have a little more skin in the game as you're going through this college journey as a student. So, work study. Let's go back to the FAFSA, okay, free application for federal student aid, which is a form, okay? Financial aid is not FAFSA. Those are not interchangeable terms, okay? FAFSA is a form. You fill it out with information. If that information is incorrect, your financial aid award will not be correct. So you got to fill that out correctly. But you're going to fill out your FAFSA. That was a different video. You fill out your FAFSA form. That information will then go to your college. The college financial aid office then awards different money, right? Which can be a lot of different things. And one of those things is called work study. What this means is the student is going to work and get a paycheck, just like any other kind of job. So work study is really just a fancy term program for, it can be a campus job. It can also be an off-campus job, but it's basically a job that you're going to work for. Now, why is this a need-based aid? So it's a need-based aid because work study funding is actually subsidized by the government. So if you're making $10 an hour at your work study job, which back when I was in college, I had a work study job. I worked at the Boys and Girls Club, this after school club at a local elementary school. So I was saying it does not have to be an on-campus job. It can be off-campus as well. Mine was. And basically what that meant is I was making $10 an hour back then, which at the time minimum wage was like $8 an hour or something. So I was making more than minimum wage, which was a win back then. And so I taught the Boys and Girls Club in this after school program. And really what it was is the government was paying $7 of that $10, and the Boys and Girls Club was paying $3. Okay, now I didn't know that back then. It doesn't really matter. I made $10 an hour and I got it in the form of a paycheck. But that is why it's considered a need-based aid, because the government was subsidizing a lot of that cost. That's a great thing for nonprofits and also for your school, because then less of their budget is going towards the work that they need, right? Now, that doesn't mean that people at the Boys and Girls Club working there were all in work study. In fact, I had a colleague that worked there that did not qualify for work study, and he still worked at the Boys and Girls Club, but the budget was tight, and so he only got to work 1 day a week because that's all they could afford at the full wage, because the government wasn't subsidizing the other $7 an hour. So you can still do that, and you can get an on-campus job that's not work study. Okay, so that's fine. So work study does not mean an on-campus job. It just means a job. And if you're in work study, you qualify for that job. It's just common to get an on-campus job. Yes, that could be something in the cafeteria. But it can also be anything, working in the library, working in the admissions office, working in the financial aid office. Like there's all kinds of things that there's on-campus jobs for that you can use work study funding with. What most people don't know is work study actually can be used by private companies, at least as of today, at the day of this recording, but it only covers 30% of your costs. So you can get private jobs that have work study as well, but in this case, like in this example, if you're making $10 an hour, the government would only cover $3 of that, and then the company would need to cover the $7, make that up, and you would get your paycheck basically. So that is what work study is. I hope that made some clarification for you of this mysterious program, but that's work study. It's considered a need-based aid for that reason, but it's also self-help aid, which is basically a job. So that is what work study is. That's why it's a type of financial aid that is used to pay for the cost of college. As you've learned today, work study is a type of financial aid, a type of need-based aid, but there are all kinds of different types of financial aid. And if you want to learn more about that, so you're not so confused about these terms and what they're offering you, you can check the link in the description and get my Financial Aid 101, where I will go over all the types of financial aid and other examples of what that actually looks like in practice so that you can get the funding that you need for school and make it a little bit more affordable, as well as kind of demystify this whole financial aid thing because there's so many things to learn. But if you want Financial Aid 101, again, go ahead and click the link in the description and that will be